Hare Krishna. I am Radhika Piyari Devi Dasi, and today I am going to share with you the glories of Mokshada Ekadashi. So Yudhishthir Maharaj asked Lord Sri Krishna, "O my Lord, please explain to me the glories of that Ekadashi, which falls during the light fortnight of the month of Mrigashirsha, November December, and it removes all the sins. Which deity has to be worshipped on this day? And please explain to me how to observe this in fullness." On this, Sri Krishna replies to Yudhishthir Maharaj that, "Hey Yudhishthir, your inquiry is very auspicious because this will bring you fame. Just previously, I have explained to you about the dearmost Mahadvadashi of Utpanna Ekadashi, which falls during the dark part of the month of Margashish. This is the day when Ekadashi Devi appeared from my body to kill the demon Mura. And now I will be explaining to you about Mokshada Ekadashi, which purifies a faithful devotee of all his sinful reactions and bestows liberation upon him. The worshipable deity on this particular day is Lord Damodar. With full attention, one should worship him with incense, ghee lamp, fragrant flowers, and tulsi manjaris. Please listen to me as I narrate to you the story which is in relationship to this. Because one relative who have gone to hell can turn around and go to the heavenly kingdom just by observing this particular Ekadashi. So there was once a very beautiful city named Champakanagar. It was decorated with devoted Vaishnavas. The best of saintly kings, Maharaj Vaikashena, he ruled over his subjects as if they were his very own dear sons and daughters. Now the Brahmins in that capital city were all very expert in all four kinds of Vedic knowledge. The king, while ruling properly, had a dream one night in which his father was seen to be suffering the pangs of hellish torture in one of the hellish planets, ruled over by Yamraj. Now the king was very overwhelmed with compassion for his father and he shed tears. The next morning, Maharaj Vaikashna, he described what he had seen in his dream to his council of twice born learned Brahmins. He said, "O Brahmanas," the king addressed them, "In a dream last night, I saw my father suffering in a hellish planet. He was crying out of anguish that, 'O son, please deliver me from this torment of this hellish condition. Now I have no peace of mind here. Even this beautiful kingdom has become unbearable to me. Not even my horses, elephants, and chariots, and my vast wealth in my treasury that were formerly brought so much pleasure, gave me any pleasure at all. So everything, O best of Brahmins, even my own wife and sons have become source of unhappiness since I beheld my father suffering the tortures of the hellish condition. What should I do? Where can I go? My body is burning with fear and sorrow. Please tell me, what kind of charity or what kind of fasting, what kind of austerity or deep meditation I can do in order for the liberation of my forefathers. I do not know that what my father and why he is suffering, because my life as a son feels utterly useless to me because my forefathers are suffering." So the twice born Brahmins, they replied to the king that there is a forest, mountainous forest, not far from here, and there is one ashram where this great saint Parvata Muni resides. Please go to him. He is Trikal Gyani and he knows every way to help your father and your forefathers. He can surely help you and gain relief from this misery." So as soon as the king hears this, from this advice, he immediately sets out for the journey of the ashram to the famous sage Parvata Muni. Now this ashram is actually a very big ashram, house of many learned sages. They are actually expert in chanting the sacred hymns from the Rig, Yajur, Sam and Atharva Veda. Approaching the holy ashram, the king beheld Parvata Muni seated among the assembly of sages, adorned with hundreds of tilaks from all the authorized sampradayas. He was looking like another Brahma or Vyas. So there, Maharaj Vaikashana, he offered his humble obeisances to the Muni. He bowed his head and then his entire body he prostrated in front of him. And he explained to him everything what has happened. Parvata Muni first actually asked him the welfare of the seven limbs of his existence. And he also asked him that how his kingdom, was it free from troubles, whether everyone was peaceful, happy and satisfied. That's when the king actually said to him that everything is going fine, but there is a problem which has arisen, and that is my dream where my father is actually suffering, my forefathers suffering. So that time Parvata Muni, he actually closed his eyes and he meditated and he could see that what this king was saying, and he felt compassion for him. Now Parvata Muni, he explained to the king that what his father did, because of which he was suffering. He said that the father was actually suffering the result of committing a great sin, where he quarreled with his wife and then forcibly he enjoyed her sexually during her menstrual period. She tried to protest him a lot and resist his advances, and she even yelled out that someone please save me. Please, husband, do not interrupt my monthly period in this way. But he did not stop. He just did what he had to do and he left her alone. On this account of this grievous sin, your father is right now suffering in this hellish condition of suffering. Now King Vaikhanasha, he said to the sages that please tell me the process of fasting or charity which I may do in order to liberate my dear father from such a condition. Please tell me how I can relieve and remove the burden of his sinful reactions, which are a great obstacle to his progress towards ultimate release, salvation or liberation, or going back home. Then Parvata Muni, he replies that during the light fortnight of the month of Mrigashirsha, there occurs an Ekadashi which is called Mokshada Ekadashi. If you observe the sacred fast strictly and give directly the merit of your fasting to your suffering father, then he will be freed from his pain and instantly he will get liberated. Now, Maharaj Vaikhanasa, he profusely thanked the sage and returned to his palace to perform this vrata. So now Lord Sri Krishna says that, hey Yudhishthir, during the light part of the month of Margashish, at the last, when the king arrived, he faithfully waited for the Ekadashi Tithi to arrive. And then he perfectly with full faith observed the Ekadashi fast along with his wife, his children and other relatives. He dutifully gave the merit from his fasting to his father, and as he made the offering, beautiful flower petals showered down from the Devas who peered out from behind the clouds in the sky. Now the king's fathers were then praised by the messengers of the demigods, and then he was escorted to the celestial region. So as he passed his son, he traversed the lower to the middle to the higher planets, and the father said to the king, my dear son, all auspiciousness unto you. At last he reached the heavenly realm, from where he again, with his newly acquired merit, performed devotional service to Krishna, and in due course returned back home, back to Godhead. So whoever faithfully observes this Ekadashi fast, which is like Chintamani, they obtain very special merit which is hard to calculate. For this day can elevate one from hellish life to heavenly planets. One who is observing Ekadashi, they have a lot of spiritual benefit on this day and elevates oneself finally to go back home, never to return to this material world. This Ekadashi day is also actually the day of the anniversary, commemorating the day that Srimad Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Sri Krishna to Arjuna. And on this particular day, especially in Kurukshetra, where this Bhagavad Gita was spoken, the devotees, they actually recite Bhagavad Gita there. Many Bhagavad Gitas are also donated on this particular day. So on this particular Ekadashi, besides fasting very devotedly, also try to recite from the Bhagavad Gita and remember this scene of Arjuna and Krishna. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this particular Ekadashi video. Very happy to again meet you in the next video. Happy Ekadashi. Hare Krishna.